Good morning, traders. It's 8:01 a.m. on Tuesday, the 29th of March, 2016. Thanks for joining me. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The overall view of the overnight session is that we have a market that is risk averse this morning, with oil leading the decline. Oil being down 2.82% or $1.13 currently on the May contract. Gold is flat. The Treasury futures on the bonds up slightly. Tens are up slightly. The Bund is up slightly. The Nikkei is down slightly. The Hang Seng's up slightly. The Shanghai's down, and the Japanese yen futures are down slightly. Eurozone equities, we're looking at the DAX being down slightly. The DAX is down 47 points. Remember, Eurex was closed yesterday. The FTSE's down slightly, and the CAC 40's up slightly. The U.S. equities are down just a tad. The S&P is trading 6 points down, which is about 0.3%. And the U.S. dollar index on ICE is flat. The overnight sentiment, as I said, is overall mixed. There's not much news that I could see from my news feeds as far as what's driving this mixed sentiment. But overall, it seems like yesterday's trading has really put us in a position where we are in a holding pattern. So let's look at what we discussed yesterday. Here it is in full HD. This is the primary hypothesis. The expectation is for a choppy open and a drop into the prior day's range, with 22 cited yesterday, 22 being the initial test. And what I mentioned yesterday, this is about, 9 minutes and 50 seconds into yesterday's Trader Bite. What I mentioned is that if we do get a bounce, it would likely be in the 2022 area. If not, I expect it to push up and then continue lower down to 2017 to get back into the point of control from last Thursday. So that was the primary hypothesis. The secondary hypothesis was for a bounce off of the prior day's range, a slight push in, and then a continuation higher. That given the action that we had overnight, it seemed like a lower probability. The overnight session on Sunday night, Monday morning, Globex seemed like they did clearly and cleanly reject that 39.75, and the expectation is that we weren't likely to push up there. Now let's look at what we did get. Again, I'd like to review it just so that we can see that it's not all hindsight's 2020 and so on. There's your low at 2022, right on the dot. So the open was an open rejection reverse. It chopped very small, and it immediately rejected the continuation higher down, and it went right to 22, and it bounced off of there to give us a neutral day up to 2034, and the market finished exactly in the middle. You could see that the market finished at 28 in the 28 area, 28 and a quarter. The prior day's close is 28.50. So what we have yesterday is a doji that's basically mid-range. Not that that's meaningful, but overall we have a break of the IB low, a break of the IB high, and a return to the middle. And in the middle we have the point of control, we have the VWAP, we have the mid, this dark blue line, all just acting together right in the middle of the range on a fairly balanced profile. It has a bit of a nudge or a peak in it before you get the point of control, but overall it's fairly balanced. Yesterday's trading, because it was a holiday, also yesterday's trading was basically saying we don't know what to expect next. Again, Eurex was closed yesterday, and several other markets were closed. major markets were closed. Volume was pretty low. Volume was running about 40% lower than normal. And overall, we had a neutral day with the market closing right um, right in a precarious spot, actually. Up to that point, the microcomposite low was 25 and a quarter, and it closed just inside it at 28 and a quarter with a neutral day and balance. So this gives us this strange situation where we don't have an edge as to which way it's likely to go on yesterday's close. So, gun to my head yesterday on the close, um, and being asked which way is it likely to go into Globex, my guess would have been just as neutral as anybody's. Really, there was no way to tell which way it's likely to go. It looked like we tested the LVN zone from Thursday and rejected it, and it looked like we rejected the prior Wednesday's point of control also, and we're sitting on the edge of the this MC box here. I've extended the MC, the microcomposite, because we have traded in here. There's the point of control moving up, there's a point of control moving down, but everything is inside of value. Then the point of control shifts down. So we include those days because they're trading within each other's ranges, and then we drop off and the point of control ends up moving down here. But once it shifts back up, I have to include this entire area into the microcomposite to form this profile to see where we are relative to where we've been over the last few days of balance. So the market is balanced going into yesterday's close, and then when we look at the overnight session, what we have on the overnight session is a double distribution profile, which gives us a bit of an edge. Double distribution profile with a clean and clear cutoff at where 2026.75, 2026.75. If you don't remember that price, you should. 2026.75 has been key for quite some time, and we ended up taking it out on Wednesday, I believe. So that's the over underline for this morning. I'm watching that carefully, but overall, the overnight session held near highs, looked fairly decent, went sideways for most of the session, and then just exploded downwards around 4 a.m. Central, and has not been able to recover, has not come back to the mid, and has a fairly weak low at this point. It seems like the market is likely to continue lower, but it's hard to tell because here we are trading at 2023 quarter, which is higher than the 2022 low from yesterday. We are still inside of yesterday's range. So a very odd situation here this morning. It just shows us that the market is fairly imbalanced. My opinion, as it stands right now, given where we are, my opinion is that we are likely to trade in this lower distribution. The overnight low is likely to go. I do expect it to try to push up to the mid area. Again, the VWAP mid area is around that 26.75 with the LVN, with yesterday's point of control at 28 even. And yesterday's close at 28 even. It's just a mishmash of stuff up here, and I'd like to see that get tested before it rotates and pushes down. So the primary hypothesis coming into today is, and I have to qualify this, as long as we hold this 2026-27 area, as long as we hold that, we're likely to continue down to 2017. So my expectation this morning is that we're likely to test the overnight low. We're likely to attempt to push to 2026, but if, and I emphasize the if, because there's just no way to know, if it's unable to take out 26, 27, then we're likely to see 2017 this afternoon. Now don't forget that this afternoon, We do have, we have consumer confidence at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, a half hour after the open, which is likely to drive some things, expecting 94 there. But we also have we have a Fed's Yellen speaking at the Economic Club of New York at 11:20 Central, 12:20 Eastern, and the market's likely to just chomp around until we get an idea of what that statement looks like. Then at noon Central, 1 Eastern, we have Fed Speaker Kaplan speaking in Austin. And you need to keep an eye on that. I know there's a lot going on in the Fed. There's some dissension or disagreement with the last statement that was released by the FOMC. So the market's likely to pay very particular attention to what is being said by each individual connected with the Fed right now. But this is the primary hypothesis here. If we don't see this, if we see that it either becomes responsive right away or it pushes down, then becomes responsive, especially if it pushes down and becomes responsive, then that 26, 27 area is likely to go. I expect a small pullback, a push, a pullback, and then continuation higher. And that's going to likely be the hypothesis for the second hypothesis of the day, or the second most likely play of the day. So that's how things are shaping up right now. We're going to keep this very, very short and sweet. Um, I want to remind you all that after the close today at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, I'm going to be speaking on Futures IO, formerly known as Big Mike Trading Forum. The link for that is on my Twitter feed. Just go to twitter.com/FuturesTrader71. If you have questions about any of this content, just go to FuturesTrader71.com, hit the contact button, and shoot me a message, and I'll do my best, or my staff will try to answer your question as best as we can. Good luck, and I'll catch you this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning. Take care.